All right. Good evening. This Town of Adams Board of Selectmen meeting on Wednesday, February 7th, 2024 is now called to order. If you could all please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. First item of business is the approval of minutes. The board has in their meeting materials minutes for January 3rd, 2024 and our January 17th, 2024 meetings. What is the board's pleasure?
Yeah, 2023?
I'm sorry?
You said 2024.
Yep, January 3rd, 2024 and January 17th, 2024.
Okay.
And I believe all members can vote on the January 17th minutes. Is that correct, but not the January 3rd? Okay. So I would like to take them up separately if we could. So if anyone would like to make a motion on the January 3rd minutes, I'll entertain that.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the January 3rd, 2024 minutes and approve them as presented.
I have a motion by Howard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John. Any discussion?
Yep, I
Yep.
just picked out a few errors.
Sure.
Okay, so, excuse me.
If you could state the
On
page number.
Page 2, paragraph 5, beginning with currently,
Yep.
advanced, inclusive, and equitable access. I would think, would that supposed to be access? I'm not sure.
Yep.
And the next paragraph down, the second line, I'll start from the beginning of the sentence. Additionally, climate change is an issue that permeates the all. So the word "the" should be struck from the issues that permeate all the work that Mass Audubon does.
Okay.
And paragraph 10, Member Novak, starting with it. I just feel that I should have been quoted also that I was in lockstep allowing Audubon to get the contract. That's not mentioned here. And I just don't like it because it looks like I'm, as I mentioned before I made that statement, that I'm trying to put a feather in my cap, and that's not the reason. So I just would like added to that I wholeheartedly endorsed Audubon, Mass Audubon, to run the outdoor center facility. And that's all that I have for changes.
So with that paragraph, would it be fair to say Member Novak stated that he endorses Mass Audubon and that he has been involved with environmental affairs, and continue with the rest of the summary?
Anything is fine as long as it's incorporated that I voted for Mass Audubon.
Okay. Yep. And I'm just checking the vote that does say that it was unanimous, so you are incorporating that as well. Okay.
Well, all the other people that were quoted
Yep.
within the context said that they were happy to have Mass Audubon as the
Yep.
licensee or given the permission to run.
Understood. I just wanted to make sure it was in both places.
Yeah.
So there are 3 corrections to the minutes, all on page 2. Howard, would you would you like to amend your motion
Yes,
to accept the changes?
to include the changes proposed by Member Novak.
Okay, and John, do you second that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention?
Abstain.
1 abstention. Thank you. That brings us to the January 17th, 2024 minutes.
Make a motion the board waive a reading of the minutes and approve them as provided for Wednesday, January 17th, 2024.
I have a motion by Rick. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by John. Any discussion?
Yes, I just have one clarification that needs to be made.
Sure.
On page 2, public comment, the second paragraph near the bottom, it says Attorney St. John, that there was no evidence. It perhaps should be Attorney St. John stated that there was no evidence in research that East Mountain Road has been accepted as a town road.
Okay.
And that's all I have. And one thing I'd like to say, I really wish that we could get these minutes a little bit earlier, because the meetings have been over for quite some time, and if you just get them, it's really hard to, phase in on when you're looking at them,
Okay.
and I would just appreciate that.
Certainly, we will work on getting that. Typically, we send it with the agenda or with the meeting materials, but would you like them ahead of that? And then
Well,
we-
if possible, I mean,
Okay.
it's, you get a lot of stuff in the mail to look at, and,
Okay,
I just,
we can certainly work on that and getting that
I would
before maybe the
appreciate it.
agenda. Certainly. Okay, so we do have a correction on page 2. Rick, would you like to amend your motion to include that?
It's so amended.
Okay, John?
Yes.
Thank you. And any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to public comment. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to the Board of Selectmen? Yes. If you could please state your name and your address?
My name is Steve Marco. That's Marco with a K. I live at 650 Wells Road in the town of Cheshire. I was here at your last meeting and said a few things, and certainly I'd like to see the minutes of the meetings and see what was written down regarding what I stated last time. But I'll reiterate, if you don't mind, a little bit. The family owns a piece of property on East Mountain Road in Cheshire, or in Adams. And due to health reasons, we decided to sell it, and we put it on the market in July of 2023. Market offers have been, the good market offers all had contingencies with them, that we have a confirmation that the road into that property is accessible, all right? Either a public way or a private road, all right, I'll just say that. We found out, or I found out, talking to our realtor in late November 2023, that the town of Adams building commissioner had been telling prospective buyers and telling the realtor that the road was abandoned, and being abandoned, the property was not buildable. We've owned this property for 65 years. There's a house on the property, there's a barn, there's garages. It was an old farm. It's 70 acres. It's a sweet piece of property. Very secluded. Because of your building inspector, building commissioner, whatever you want to call him, the things that he said, it's created a huge impact on the value of that property. All right, if the road is abandoned, possibly the only option that we have is sell it to the state. I don't know if you've ever dealt with the state, but the difference between market value and the state assessment is huge. So I just want to say that. So back on December 4th, that's 2 months ago, I provided the building commissioner with all the documentation, the court transcripts, maps, the maps the town had, letters that were written to, it seems that exit tonight, to Edith St. John the Ford. There was 2 references in there. All the deeds, I provided all that information to him 2 months ago. Heard nothing. And I don't know if I can assume that you folks have read any of this material, or you just leave it up to Ed. I'll just say that. So what I'm looking for from the town is to provide confirmation that the road is a public way to our property and have a permanent solution. I guess one thing, I'm not going to read the transcript from the court, but there was back in 1979, it was the Fritzes, and I'm not going to tell you all the history, but basically the judge found in favor of the Fritzes, and the town of Adams was directed to provide the Fritzes with a right-of-way. Now, what had happened was a bridge called High Bridge over the Tolbert had caved in, whatever, and wasn't usable. They couldn't get to their property. But the judge gave them a couple of options. He said, you can put a new bridge in, or you can find some other way to get to their property and all the other people's, others on the north side of the Tolbert Brook. That's us. The town appropriated money, all right, hired Dave Kubiak, and the first thing they did is they got the state to survey the whole thing in from Upper East Hoosick Street and design the road. Then the town of Adams appropriated the money to repair the road. Thank you very much. It was a 210% improvement of what we had. We've been driving in there for 40 years, 10 years prior to all of this on that road. And after it was repaired, that's what we used for sofa. That was 30 years ago, maybe more. So we've been using that road right along. And I just referenced two letters. In March 16, 2005, Victor Zimba hired Brennan and O'Connor. They had logged, they were like the second piece of property in on the road, and they had logged the property, and one of the people there on the first part of the property stopped them from taking the logs over the road. And so the Zimbas hired a lawyer, and they had weeks to get those logs out of there before they would go bad. And I see a second letter in there. So that was directed to Mr. St. John. There was a second letter in there and the guy that was handling this for Donovan O'Connor was a guy by the name of Stephen Pignata. The letter went back to Zimbas, and he stated that he was working on a permanent solution with Mr. St. John. All right? That letter was it was about 2 months later, so it was like in April of 2005. So what are we looking at here? About 19 years ago, Ed has been working on this thing. We just assumed, once we saw the second letter, that it was taken care of and everything was done. And I guess that was a poor assumption on our part. We never saw anything. Nobody ever, the road, everybody's been using the road. And it's like, the state has logged in there. They were bringing tandem trucks in there. Steve was using, I don't know if you know who he is. He's the guy who owns Berkshire Outfitters. He owns the property across the street from us. He recently had Lashaway logged in there, took all the logs out on the road. Carl Lambert was the first one he logged and took the stuff out. I've got tons of history. I've got the whole story. I'm not going to waste your time on it. But again, what I'm looking for is a permanent solution here. And I'm looking for a letter, some documentation from the town of Adams that the road is a public way, and I would even go farther and say a private road is possibly an option.
Thank you, Mr. Marco. At our last meeting, Attorney St. John did confirm that he did receive your materials. He also stated to the board that he did not find in his research that there was any evidence that this was an accepted road by the town of Adams, and that there was no vote by town meeting in his research that has accepted the road. So at this time, I would ask that Attorney St. John get in touch with you about what the process would be, about how the town could go about accepting the road, but ultimately it would have to go to a town meeting vote. So I will follow up with town council and have him get in touch with you as to what the next steps would be and what the process would be.
I'll just say one last thing. The decision has been made already by the courts. All right, so there's no decision to be made here. It's the execution of that decision that has got to be taken care of.
Thank you.
And can I ask you, what decision are you referring to, so for my education?
There was and actually, I think it was done here in the town. I have the transcript right here. He's got it. It's public record. It was Benjamin Fritz and Helen Fritz versus the town of Adams, and actually there was this chap, Mike Shea, who owned a little piece of property in there and was trying to stop people from going across the property, but ultimately what the judge found, and this guy was really super duper, and the thing that he wrote up, and I think
I'll get a copy, we'll get a copy.
he's got it.
Okay.
You know, so,
All right, appreciate it.
and again, that was in February 14th, 1979. And the town was directed to do something. And the decision that was made by the town was to fix the road rather than buy a Bailey Bridge or whatever, to bring the road in from, the road was there. It was a county road. I mean, we had been using it, it had been there for 100 years. So,
Okay.
Thank
any
you.
other questions?
Thank you.
I would just like to say that, like Chairman Hoyt said, that, Ed be made aware, and if it's been this long, he needs to come to some conclusion, because it's not fair for yourself or us to wait and see what happens. I've known your family for I don't know how long, and I know your dad and mine. I know you've been going up there for many, many years, but the point is that something has to be found in writing that it's been an accepted road. And, you're giving us, a take on it, but we've got to find something as a board that shows that it's been accepted as a road. And, that belongs in court, not with us. And so we have a town attorney, and as you mentioned, you've asked many times about this, so Chairman Hoyt said that she will call him, and I take her at her word, and you should have a powwow. I think it's long overdue.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else under public comment? Yes. You could state your name and your address.
Dave Bazillion, 9 Townview Lane. I'm not here tonight representing Pro Adams, although we will be back here in a few weeks, once again, to formally ask for permission to use the visitor center for probably our 12th year for the Thunderfest event, which is coming up March 23rd, as it has the last 10, 12 years, and, Ramble Fest in the fall. But I come tonight as a business owner. I own, as many of you know, I own Smith Brothers McAndrews Insurance Agency on Park Street. And I know certainly the news has been out there, but I just wanted to formally, let the board of, the select board know that, I have purchased the famous red carpet restaurant at 69 Park Street, which I know was met with some concern from some folks, because they certainly don't want to be eating my cooking at any time in the future. But my point is a bigger one. My point is that Smith Brothers McAndrews has been operating in Adams this is our 128th year, and we had always done it as a tenant on Park Street, which was terrific. And we've done okay, and we've been able to help a lot of families and businesses through the years. But when we had to move because of an issue in our building, we moved to temporary space. The the opportunity presented itself for me to purchase a building. And there was really no specific need for me to do that. We could have gone on as tenants, renting the space that we've done for many years. But in the end, I made the decision to buy the building and to invest in Park Street and in Adams for many, many reasons. But primarily, and this is why I wanted to thank Christine and the board for the work that you guys have done to create an atmosphere in town where businesses want to invest. So for me, the decision to invest in a building, at a fair amount of money for me at least, and to spend additional money on renovations and whatnot, was absolutely a business decision based on what is going on in this town. And I mean that in a very positive way. And while things are not perfect, and the board is not perfect, and none of us are perfect, and we're all, working on things as we go along, I'm a lifelong resident. I've owned this business for 12 years, and I can't think of a time when there's been more opportunity and more good things going on in this town. And I think a lot of it has to do with the leadership in town, and it's the board, and it's Jay, and it's many hardworking volunteers who are doing things to inevitably help all of us. I wouldn't have bought a building if I didn't see Ina Moore and the Adams Theater in town. And why is Ina in town? Because there's an opportunity for her to recreate, I should say, a theater to bring joy to residents and visitors. And you all know what she's doing there. It's amazing. She wouldn't be doing that if she didn't have faith in what was going on in this town. The work that's going up at the Glen, and not everybody loves what's going on up the Glen, but up at the Glen, you've got the Welcome Center being built, and you've now got shared estates coming into the area. And again, these are major projects, and these things would not be done if the proprietors and the owners of those institutions and committees didn't have the full faith and trust in the stewardship of the town by this select board. And there's other things happening. We're downtown, with the trail, with the train, with other investments. I just think, I know it's easy sometimes, we get caught up in the challenges, and everything's important. There's nothing that isn't important. But I think it's really, really important for everybody, and that's why I wanted to personally commend you guys. There's a lot of positive things happening in this town, and my money is where my mouth is. And my point to this board, and you need to hear it, is that I certainly wouldn't have made the decision to invest in a building and to invest in renovations if I didn't feel that the town was heading and continuing in the right direction. And, I have friends on this board, I have colleagues on this board, but certainly I wasn't going to make a business decision unless I really felt that things were going good. So I just wanted to be here to tell you that, the red carpet will move on as an insurance agency. You'll all be welcome to come and check out our new digs in a couple of months, and trust me, it can't come soon enough. But a real boost for me was seeing what's happening around me and in this town and downtown and at the Glen. And so I just want to thank you guys for what you do, because you don't get thanked enough. And there's always questions and challenges and et cetera. But Smith Brothers McAndrew certainly appreciates what you guys do every day. So I just wanted to leave you with that. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave. We look forward to the ribbon cutting at 69 Park Street. But disappointed we won't get that common vic license, but that's okay.
Bring your own bagel.
Anyone else under public comment? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to old business. In the Members' meeting materials, there were amended meeting minutes for our November 20th, 2023 meeting. Since that went into your meeting materials on Monday, the town of Cheshire has requested additional revisions that we didn't get until later today. So I'm asking that we table this item until our next meeting so that we can look at the revisions that the town of Cheshire's asking for before we put them forward to this board, if that is okay with this group.
I'll make a motion to extend the time to have the minutes of the November 2023 meeting so that the town of Cheshire has the ability to make changes within the context of the minutes.
Yep, and I just want to reiterate, it's amending what we've already
Okay.
approved.
Using the word amended.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? Okay, thank you. That brings us to new business, and item A, I think A and B, we have the town clerk to present this information, so we'll start with item A, which is review and sign the presidential primary warrant, and go over the voting information for the presidential primary.
Good evening. Tonight before you have the warrant for the presidential primary. Presidential primary will be March 5th. It's a Tuesday. Polling will be from 7 to 8 at the Adams Memorial Building at 30 Columbia Street. There will be presidential preference on the ballot, state committee man, state committee woman, and town committees. We have Democrat and Republican town committees. So I'm asking tonight that you sign the warrant so that we can have it posted in ample time to have our March 5th presidential primary election.
So the board does have a copy of the presidential primary warrant, as it was just reviewed with us. So I do need a motion to approve it as it has been presented.
I'll make a motion to board approve the warrant for presidential preference primaries as provided.
Do we need the date as part of the,
Can be for March 5th.
okay,
Okay, for March 5th, 2024.
thank you. I have a motion by Rick, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Howard, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? Okay. And then do you have a copy of the warrant that,
I do have a copy of the warrant, so I can leave it and you can
or
sign it.
Bree does it, we'll sign it
That's
tonight
perfect. Okay.
and get it to you?
Perfect. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the March 5th election. I do want to let everyone know that there will be in-person early voting hours. It will start on Saturday, February 24th. We will be here from 9 to 5, and then the following week, Monday through Friday, are normal business hours. And again, on Saturday, February 24th, that's the deadline to register to vote for the March 5th election. If anybody's watching at home and you have requested a mail-in ballot, I want to let you know that we have mailed those out. You should be receiving them in your mailboxes any day now. As you all know, that all of our clerks do not have control over the post office and how the mail gets delivered to you, but do know that the town of Adams has mailed out all the mail-in ballots, and they've been given to the post office, so hopefully you'll receive them. You can return them by mail. It is already postage paid if you want to stick all your envelopes inside and mail it to us, or you can drop it off at the drop box if we're not open out in front of Town Hall, or you can certainly drop it off at the town clerk's office on our normal business hours. I think that's all I have for March 5th.
Any questions for the town clerk about the March 5th primary? All right, so we'll move on to item B, which is the review of the town election information.
So our annual town election will be on May 6th. It will be at the Adams Memorial Building at 30 Columbia Street, and the hours will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Nomination papers are currently available at the town clerk's office if anybody is interested in taking out nomination papers. All nomination papers need to be due back by March 18th at 5 o'clock. Incumbent town meeting members have, hopefully have received their postcard in the mail and just need to sign it and get it back to us if they want to continue as a town meeting member. That is due March 11th. Up on the ballot this year is moderator for 1 year, town clerk for 3 years, 2 selectmen seats for 3 years, 1 assessor for 3 years, a Board of Health member for 3 years, 2 library trustees for 3 years, 3 park commission members for 3 years, 1 planning board member for 5 years, 1 cemetery commission member for 3 years, a redevelopment authority member for 5 years, McCann Northern Berkshire Regional Vocational School District member for 3 years, 1 Hoosick Valley Regional School District Committee member for Adams for 3 years, just 1, and various town meeting seats. So if anybody is interested out there in any one of the precincts that would like to become a town meeting member, feel free to give our office a call or stop in and see us, and we can get you hooked up with some nomination papers. I think that's all I have regarding that. We have a lot going on in our office with elections right now, but, you know, it's keeping us busy.
Haley, as a reminder to folks who might be interested in serving, how many signatures would they need?
29.
29. For any of the positions that you just mentioned?
Except for town meeting is 10.
Is 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Other questions for town clerk?
If anybody's interested, please feel free to stop by the office and we'll be happy to hook you up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. The next item, at our January 17th meeting, we did make the announcement that the Hoosick Valley Regional School District, or Hoosick Valley Regional School Committee was looking for individuals to step forward to serve on the District Agreement Review Committee that they are looking to put in place this month to do some work, I think, over the course of the next 6 months. As a reminder, the district agreement was reviewed and amended a little over 5 years ago. And as part of the district agreement, it was written in there that every 5 years, the district agreement would be reviewed, so that we weren't in the situation where we would need to spend 2 years amending a decades-old document. So this is a 5-year review. We did, what the school committee was looking for was a member of the finance committee, a resident, and a member of the Board of Selectmen. Out of those 3 opportunities, we only had 2 individuals respond. Both of them serve on the Finance Committee, and that is Carol Cuscinetti and Jay Meswar, both who are interested in serving on this committee. So what I would be asking is if the board would be comfortable with appointing 2 members of the Finance Committee to serve on that review committee. The position that, the seat that is reserved for selectmen, I did not receive any responses, nor did the town administrator, that anybody on the Board of Selectmen was looking to serve. I am unable to serve as the default member, so unless there is somebody who wishes to step
Chair, I'd
forward.
like to, I think it would make real sense if John Duval, if he's willing to do so. I mean, you were on the school committee for a lot of years, and it kind of makes sense to me that you would be the right individual to go to, but that's certainly your decision.
I appreciate that, Joe, but there is another John Duval on the school committee, my son, so I have a
Okay.
conflict of interest, but I appreciate that.
Yep,
Thank you.
okay.
Is there anyone else who wishes to serve? If not, I would be asking the board to consider appointing Jay Green, our town administrator, to serve in that role. I have asked the superintendent if that would be appropriate, and the superintendent did indicate that that would be okay, if none of us were able to serve in that seat.
And I did ask Mr. Green, ahead of putting his name forward, if that is something that he would be able to take the time to serve on, and he did say he would if nobody on this board was able to serve. So those are the options that are in front of us.
I'd have to say that I wouldn't mind serving, but I'm, would be in conflict of interest because I'm a substitute, and I have to be very careful of that. And I need to get a 20D application into you as a special town employee, and that will be coming in the near future.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to appoint Jay Green as representing the Town of Adams Board of Selectmen on the Hoosick Valley Regional School District Agreement Committee.
Okay. I have a motion by John. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'm abstaining.
You're abstaining?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, who is, I'm sorry.
And so then the other two applications we did, or letters of interest, came from Carol and Jay Mesor.
So who would be the citizen and who is the Finance Board member?
My recommendation is, since we didn't have a resident come forward, that we would be looking at two members of the Finance Committee. I don't think that they can separate themselves from the Finance Committee
Okay.
and serve as a resident or,
Yeah, just out of curiosity, I know that we made that announcement here with the Select Board. Was there any other information disseminated via our website or anything else that we were looking for people?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know it was announced here, it was announced at the school committee. I don't know outside of that.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to appoint as representatives of the Adams Finance Committee, Carol Cushinetti and Jay Mesor, to serve on the Hoosick Valley Regional School District Agreement Committee.
I have a motion by John. Do I have a second?
I'll say it.
Second by Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous.
Thank you both for volunteering.
Thank you. I will forward the names to the superintendent, and then he'll be in touch with their meeting schedule. Okay. I think the school committee actually has to officially approve your appointments, so that they just met this past Monday, so I think it's in 2 weeks that they will meet, and you'll probably hear something after that. Okay. Unfortunately, we delayed their process a little bit with our timing. Okay, under new business, item D, we do have a common vic license here in front of us for Park Street Home Sweet Home. So this is a new retail shop with a bakery component to it. They have recently added seating into the establishment, and hence why they are looking to be in compliance and have a common vic license. Ms. King apologizes for not being able to be here this evening in person, but is hoping that we can take up the matter, although she's not able to attend.
I'll make a motion the board approve the common particular license application for Park Street's Home Sweet Home.
We have a motion by Rick. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Since our last meeting, we did receive 2 additional open meeting law complaints filed by Ms. Catherine Foster. Those documents were provided to the board as part of your meeting materials, and I am asking that the board refer this matter to town council to respond on our behalf.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. Thank you. So I'll follow up with Ed in the morning on that matter and the matter from public comment. That brings us to subcommittee and liaison reports. Start with Rick.
I have nothing.
Joe.
A couple of things. Of the Western Northwest Massachusetts Woodlands Partnership, we had a meeting. Legislation has been put in by Paul Mark to have our name changed. We've been waiting for that. It went in as a late amendment. And so we're happy about that. And also, we had a meeting via phone with Undersecretary Cooper and Melissa Hoffer about going forward in our goals. It was a very substantial and productive meeting, and we're going to be working with them to see what we can do, our group, as far as climate change. And I also went to the Historical Commission meeting, and this is something that's been bothering me for quite some time. There's been too much inaction on getting the Quaker Meeting House looked at. It's been going on for 2 or 3 years, and we need studies, we need that, but we always use the word matrix, and my matrix is we need to do something, and I don't know what's holding up. It's been told, Eamon was at there, well, we got to get a study for this and a study for that, but while we're waiting for these studies, one of our most valuable assets in this community, an unheated building, is starting to get into decline, and it's such a part of our history. So I know the members of the Historical Commission are quite concerned also, so that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Howard?
With the Board of Health, we're going to be working with the Board of Health and the North Berkshire Solid Waste Commission to come up with 3 recommendations of what to do with the sludge from the wastewater treatment plant, looking at the possibility of having municipal-wide composting to remove between 30 and 50% of solid waste from the waste stream and avoid the charges associated with that. And what the town's going to do about all the brush that's piling up by the wastewater treatment plant. We need to address that. And this will be an advisory capacity only.
I don't have anything. John?
Just a question for Howard. Does that mean that the Board of Health is going to look into the brush situation? Offer possible solutions, or?
That is the thinking. We're going to meet with them when Jay gets back from vacation
Okay.
and come up with the specific recommendations we're looking for.
Okay.
The parameters, if you will.
All right. I want to bring up again, which I brought up many times, but it's really something I should be pushing. But the Board of Selectmen has a policy handbook, and we've attempted over time to update it. When I first started, it was a yearly kickoff. We would review the policy handbook of the Board of Selectmen, and we would make updates. And it wasn't a complete document, but it was something that we had to use. And now we have the MMA has put out the Select Board's handbook, and some things can be bunted out to that, but just the board really hasn't really taken a good look at the Select Board policy handbook and what to do with it in a while. I think since Tony's been here, so I think it's time to get back to that at a workshop to figure out what we're going to do. Are we going to continue with that handbook, or is there a better way, or new ideas? But I just feel that we need to get back into that. And the last thing is, when I was on the school board, the MASC offered a service to work with the school committee to go through the entire policy handbook, which was much, much bigger than the one we have here, and they offered that service. For us, I don't think the MMA does that. I think we've asked that question, so we would need legal counsel support, and then you get into the funding aspect of things. You know, you need to have legal counsel to review everything we come up with, and so I think it's worthy of a workshop again to see where we stand after the last several years, see if we can come up with a plan or what the next step would be. And the town administrator, they have a personnel handbook regulations, which I was looking at one today. It's an old one, been here for a while, but really want to make sure that that's up to date, or is that, you know, what is the situation with that also? Thank you.
Announcements and go to the order. Rick, anything?
Nothing?
Joe?
Yeah, I have something that's bothering me. I know Dave came up and gave a colloquy with how good the town is, and I agree with that. I think we're up and coming. But I was told that on Facebook with the Greylock Glen, and I don't have Facebook, but I went on and I could get to what I wanted to see, and it was January 30th, today. We had a visit from Governor Healy's Director of Rural Affairs, Ann Goby, and the Director of the Governor's Western Mass Office, Kristen Aleko. We were joined by Jonathan Butler, President of One Berkshire. After our meeting, we headed up to the Glen to show them the progress on the outdoor center. Unfortunately, the summit was socked in, and we didn't have the normal majestic view. The center is coming along nicely. Our guests were impressed. I would like to know who we are. I didn't even know about it. I don't care if I go, but I think as a selectman, I should know when people are coming to this community. It's the belittling to me, and this happens all the time. And I should at least had the knowledge that they were coming. If I had to get a question to them, somebody could have passed it on to me. And I just don't like it, because this happens too often to me. Because I'm not in the little circle, I'm not a conformist, and I'm happy that I am. I'm like Smitty Pignatelli, and I was going to make that announcement, thanking. He was a politician, but he was a person politician. And I'm really tired of this. I just don't think it's right, and I want to know who we were at that meeting. Who was there?
So I don't know what that is that you're referring to that was on Facebook, who wrote it, where it was located.
Well,
So if you could find that, and maybe next week when Mr. Green is back, you can meet with him and discuss it.
Okay.
That would be the best.
So
person.
you weren't with on this trip?
I did.
Okay,
attend,
just wanted to know, that's all. Okay, that's all I have.
but I don't know anything else in the context
Okay,
of that.
all right.
But you can ask me directly if I was present.
Yeah,
And I
well, if you were present, you know who was there, right?
Not necessarily because I didn't go up to the Glen.
Oh, okay, well, you know who was in town?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask Jay.
Okay. Anything else? Joe, anything else?
Yes, I just want to wish the best to Smitty Pignatelli. I've known him for quite a long time, and I've known him to be a down-to-earth person, not looking for glamour, not looking to be somebody that he isn't. He was just a down-to-earth individual, and he did what he was asked by the people that voted him in. He did, anytime anybody called him, he got back to him, and that's what I try to do. And I'm no Smitty Pignatelli by any means, but that's why I ran for selectman, to help the common person.
Howard?
Yes, I want to recognize Dave Massilian for the comments he made as an independent businessman, to his confidence in the town for making that investment. And on a personal note, when I came to Adams 5 years ago, I also, after looking at the town and the administration, felt very comfortable about making an investment, and I'm very happy I did. And in a town like this, we are now poised to really take off with all the progress that Dave had mentioned. And with progress, there's always challenges. And I feel, as a member of the board, that we have worked to face those challenges. And we still have a ways to go, but essentially the progress is being made in terms of getting Adams recognized as a destination for outdoor recreation. And now with the cultural aspect with Ina Moore's theater. So I just want to reiterate that people who make investments, who know, who do their homework about where the good investments are investing in Adams. So I want to thank Mr. Basilian for his comments.
Thanks, Howard. I don't have anything. John?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Our next meeting is February 21st at 6 PM. If you do have any items for the agenda, please get those to us by Monday. We do have to post the agenda by next Thursday, given the President's Day holiday, so we'll need a couple of days to review that. If there's no other business to come before the board, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.